Stop seeking external validation. You could be risking your next promotion because of it. Most of us think that climbing the career ladder is getting acknowledged by the boss and your peers. But I've realized that's a trap. You will hit a career ceiling sooner than you know it. Seeking acknowledgements and wanting to please is a dangerous game. Instead, there is someone even more dangerous that we should pay attention to. It's not the colleague seated next to you or an imagined viral in another organization. It's actually you. If you want to be the kind of leader that people actually want to follow, you've got to change who you're trying to prove yourself to. We're going to learn from a CEO and what he has to say about getting promoted to lead others. Back in August 2022, I had this really interesting chat with Wilfrid Foo. At the time, he was the CEO of Jardine Cycle and Carriage, an organization that deals directly with the auto vehicles of several leading brands in Southeast Asia. Wilfrid's career has led him to experience a lot, and in the first segment of his interview, he shares his background, and I provided an analysis of his leadership. Go watch that first if you want some context about what this second segment is about. We often look at CEOs and think they just got lucky, they're naturally superhuman, or born with a bit more substance than us average humans. But the reality is much more grounded than that. During the interview, Wilfrid revealed something that really got me thinking. Wilfrid shared a story about his early days, specifically about a time when he had to set up a massive project in Vietnam. Now, imagine being in a foreign country where you don't speak the local language. You have to absolutely rely on the local employees speaking English to you. You're under immense pressure relative to your experience. Many things could be lost in translation and interpretation. It's in those moments where you realize that leadership is simple in your mind, but not easy in practice. What I learned from Wilfrid is that the difference between a manager who just survives and a leader who thrives is all about their internal benchmark. It is a specific mindset that he's carried since he was a young man. So I'm going to break down some key observations from the second part of our interview. These key observations, I believe, can help you to scale your leadership and finally get that career breakthrough you have been working so hard for.
Yeah, which is actually very interesting that you said that that leadership is not about you, right? It's about getting groups of people to work together. Because in speaking with a lot of aspiring leaders where they go into the corporate world and they're working really hard to get that promotion so they can lead their own team. All throughout that journey to getting that promotion, it seems like a lot of focus is really about themselves. Like, how can they prove themselves to be the best, to be the most eligible person for that promotion? Was that something did that thought ever go through your mind? As you were trying to work your way up to get that very first promotion, so that you could lead your own team. That, hey, I need to prove to my bosses that I'm the best person for the job. Does that sort of create a bit of a selfish notion?
I never started out by trying to prove anything to my bosses. It was always a journey of trying to prove something to myself.
Okay.
It was always about trying to prove that, hey, I can get this right. I can do this better. This is something that's never been done before. Let's try and do it, you know. And
the first thing Wilfrid mentioned that really jumped out at me was that he never started out his career trying to prove anything to his bosses. Instead, he was always trying to prove things to himself. He said, hey, I can get this right. I can do this better. This is something that has never been done before. Let's try and do it. Now, why is this important? It's because leadership is actually an internal game with yourself. I've worked with many aspiring leaders before. These are your experienced team members who want to get that promotion to lead a team of their own. A lot of their focus is on themselves, proving to their boss and to the powers to be that they have what it takes to go to the next level. It's a lot of me, me, me. And when they do get the promotion, the next day they are expected to do a 180-degree change and start thinking about the team, others, etc. Why? Because nobody wants to be led by a leader who is just focused on themselves and their own benefits. Do you think it's possible to change your inner nature so suddenly? For some, it might be, but for most of us, it's not. If you're deeply insecure and always looking for external validation, then you have given the power over your happiness and your growth to others. And when you do become a team leader, your desire for external validation doesn't stop. You now have a boss and a team to please. You become controllable and easily influenced. But when you focus on internal excellence, you come from a healthy place of wanting excellence for yourself, then you become unstoppable. The key difference here is that an internal focus on excellence is still delivering the expected results, but now with the intention of proving yourself that you can do this and improving in your own self-efficacy and self-confidence. The insight here is that your personal standards must always be higher than your job description. If you don't adopt this, one possibility you end up with is becoming a leader who lacks conviction or is just chasing trends. You'll start doing things just to make yourself look good, rather than doing what's actually right for those you lead. And once people know you are this kind of a leader, the respect they have for you will fly out the window very quickly.
And that kind of hunger and desire manifested itself in the results that I got for an organization, a team, etc. And then doors open.
Yes.
The second observation is about results. Wilfrid talked about how his hunger and his desire for success manifested in tangible results for the organization or the team he was with. That's it. This is crucial because in the real world, you can't just motivate others with nice speeches about what you are going to do. You motivate by doing and winning. You motivate by bringing others to their success. People want to be on the winning team, right? Just like what Wilfrid had said in the first part of his interview, that when you can create that multiplier effect of 1 + 1 = 3 and achieve more together with others, then you know you're leading well. The key insight here is that you pretty much remain invisible on the leadership radar of your boss or the powers to be unless you deliver results. I want to be clear about something here. Delivering results doesn't mean the business as usual day-to-day work that you're hired to do. You see, we all know colleagues that are happy to do the minimum, achieve the meet expectations 3 out of 5 or C performance rating. These people are just seen as doing what the job description is asking them to do. And they play an important role in ensuring that things at work keep running as they should. Meeting expectation is expected, but it doesn't cause you to stand out as leadership material. Instead, delivering results and being seen as someone who is promotable means taking on additional projects or assignments and delivering what is expected from them. You're taking on more. You're going beyond your job description and give your boss no worries about the expected outcomes. Now, that's delivering results. By the way, if you're already a leader of a team or department, you have to focus on results. If not, then you'll be seen as a nice but ineffective boss. If the team or department isn't hitting its goals, you'll lose respect of your high performers. They'll leave and you'll be left with just a team that settles for average. Inversely, you could be a bit of a taskmaster, not well liked. Yet if you bring others to their success and deliver results, you'll be respected for it. And as Wilfrid says, doors will open for you. Before I go deeper into this, if you're finding this video helpful and you like it when we keep leadership simple like this, please do me a favor, hit the like button, leave a comment about what resonates so far, and subscribe to the channel. It helps to get this video out to more leaders who need it. Thank you.
Yeah, so it wasn't about trying to please your boss, but I was always trying to beat myself.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm continuously trying to learn something and be progressive in my life.
Thirdly, Wilfrid emphasized that he was continuously trying to learn something and be progressive. Wow, most of us would have been happy just to get the promotion to lead a team. After all, I've met many team leaders who have no interest to advance any higher up the management hierarchy. Yet for him, even as a CEO, he doesn't think he's arrived. Seriously though, this idea of learning and growing is not a cliche, because the moment you as a leader stop growing, the whole team or department stops. I've worked with seasoned leaders who say that 10, to 15 years ago, they found leadership easier than today's times. Now, they have challenges leading younger Gen Z employees because their attitude towards work is different. These Gen Z employees need to know why they are going to do something, have no reservations pointing out bad behavior, and are more willing to take career breaks. If you as a leader have not changed the way you lead back then, is it a wonder that now leading a different generation of employees become a challenge? If you're still using the same management tactics as 5 years ago, you're already behind. The leadership insight here is that learning and growing as a leader should be natural to you. You know what's the difference between a person who is a team leader and another who is a head of department? The willingness to grow, take on new challenges, and prove you can be better than yesterday. That's what Wilfrid was saying. When you grow as a leader, you are indirectly creating a culture of growth in your people. If you don't adopt this mindset, then you will eventually become obsolete. The world is continuously changing, and a leader who isn't progressing will eventually become a bottleneck for their own team or department's success.
And whenever I face challenges, in my early years where I guess my confidence was forming, I would always go back to my father, and I would say, Dad, I'm this company that I'm working for now, I have to set up this event in Vietnam, and I'm going by myself. So many hurdles and problems, don't know how to solve them.
Yeah.
And my dad would say, son, if you can't do what's right in front of you now at such a young age and you give up, you will never be entrusted with bigger and better projects, right? Because you can't even get the simplest things done.
The fourth point comes from the Vietnam story Wilfrid mentioned earlier. Wilfrid talked about how tough it was and how he just had to stay the course. His father told him, don't give up. If you can't handle what's in front of you now at such a young age, then how are you going to be given bigger and better projects later on? I remember smiling and thinking to myself, wow, that's some good fatherly advice. Because leadership is very simple when everything is going according to plan. But your leadership is actually defined when things fall apart. Wilfrid's resilience shows that not giving up isn't just another cliche, it's an essential requirement of the leadership job. The thing I want to add is the part when Wilfrid shared that during the time when his confidence was still forming. Let me review to you what many leaders have shared with me. That going from team member to team leader can be challenging because many don't actually know what they are doing, especially when leading a team for the first time. Then after they have gained the experience of leading a team and they finally get the opportunity to lead a department where they have tens of employees across multiple locations in different countries. You know what? Your confidence will be forming when you go from team leader to head of department because you're doing it for the first time. The insight here is that your people are watching you closely when the pressure is on. If you fall or start complaining when things get tough, you're giving them permission to do the same. When they see you are anxious, they become anxious too. You might not precisely know how to achieve a desired outcome. However, if you have a rough idea, then take each step as it comes and work with the team to get there. When they see you're calm and focused on taking the next steps forward, they'll do the same and rally around you.
So you gotta kind of always set a high benchmark, keep pushing for it, and keep trying every single day, and bigger and better things will come as a result of the successes that you garnered.
Yeah.
Finally, the big one. Wilfrid's father advised him to always set a high benchmark for himself. Not just the organization's benchmark, but a personal one that's much higher. This is the core of everything we're talking about today. If you only aim to meet expectation or achieve a C or 3 out of 5 rating, then you're just like most other people in the workplace. You can't complain about not getting promoted because you have not stood up much. And I want to be clear on this. The one who gets promoted isn't necessarily the highest or best performer in the team. I recall a participant I worked with. He shared his experiences of becoming a team leader. He said that there were others in his area of work who were performing better than he was. Yet he was the one promoted because while he was considered a better than average performer and not the best performer in his workplace, He was really good at working with others and getting them to work with him. So achieving results in your area of work is often one consideration for promotion. Being able to work with others is another big consideration. After all, if the powers to be know what they're doing, why would they risk promoting someone who cannot work with others only to lose half the team to resignation later on? The insight is, don't wait for your boss to tell you to be better. By the time they tell you, it's already too late. It means you haven't been meeting the expectation these past months. And the standard you thought you were aiming for wasn't the right one for your boss. If you know what your boss is looking for and your personal excellence is above that, then you become someone worth promoting or that other organizations will want. Let's recap what we've learned from Wilfrid Foo today. We've got to get better within ourselves rather than seek external validation. Let our tangible results do the talking for us. We've got to keep learning. We need to be resilient when things get tough, always solving the problem in front of us, then thinking about the entire challenge. And most importantly, we have to set our own high benchmarks. Looking at my own leadership journey since 2018, there were many moments where I realized I was setting my own leadership benchmark too low. I was waiting for someone else to tell me I was doing a good job or that I could have done better. And that was because I didn't know what leadership is. No amount of reading leadership books made sense to me. But as I underwent the journey of interviewing over 200 leaders across the world and learning from them, now I have a much clearer understanding of what leadership is and have since had many opportunities to apply myself to the point where I could scale my leadership to lead tens of people. The bigger leadership lesson here is something I say all the time. Leadership is simple, but not easy. It's simple because this part of the interview with Wilfrid is about holding yourself to a higher standard than anyone else. But it's not easy because keeping those standards every single day, especially when you're tired or stressed, is incredibly hard work. Now, this is something you have to ask yourself honestly. Is going down the leadership path really what you want? After all, many are attracted by the benefits of leadership but are quite unaware of the responsibilities that come with it. And if you do go down that path, the growth as a person or as a professional is quite a journey. You'll become a bigger and better person than you could have imagined. I want to hear from you now. We've talked a lot about setting high standards, but I know that in the real world you face resistance. Sometimes it's from your boss. Sometimes it's from your own team or even the organization culture. Share in the comments below. What's the biggest resistance you have faced when you have tried to raise your own standard in your career? I'll see you in the next video.